Ladies and gentlemen, y'all are not gonna like this. Forget it. When you know better, you do better. So, without further ado, let me share this with y'all. I'm guilty of it. I used to drink energy drinks, but I'm hoping, after y'all watch this video that you will think twice about having yourself a Red Bull. It gives you wings. I bet it does give you wings. Not just Red Bull. Monster, Bang, any of them. You name it. Zip Fizz. I used to work for Zip Fizz. I thought they had some of the best ingredients. No. Look up the top 10, I would say the top 10 energy drinks in the world or in the United States, right? Look it up and look for this one ingredient. Look for this one ingredient. And yes, it's B12, but synthetic B12 is different. Check it out.
The one thing you want to avoid, like the plague, in the B12 category, and I get a lot of for this, but is a form of B12 called cyanocobalamin. Can we pull something up on here? Sure. Can you go to Google? Basically, it's a cyanide-based form of B12, right? The most bioavailable forms are called methylcobalamin, hydroxycobalamin, and adenosylcobalamin. Just go to Google and put in cyanocobalamin. Okay, cyanocobalamin, and then put a space and put the word PubChem. So I'm going to take you to the National Library of Medicine at the National Institute of Health. You can go here. We're on their public chemical site, and you can look up this form of B12. You see how it says cyanocobalamin B12? Can you scroll down to section 5.3? So if I want to see the component compounds, like what is this made out of? I can go right here to section 5.3 and I can look at its component compounds. Can you click on hydrogen cyanide? So this is a flammable, acute toxic, health hazard, environmental hazard.
Believe it or not, we make this vitamin out of hydrogen cyanide and the cobalt metal. And we put this into vitamins that you are likely taking right now. It's the only form of B12 that is not occurring naturally in nature. It is called cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin. I'm sort of running out of room there. Cyano is short for cyanide. Don't believe me? A lot of people don't. So I'm taking you to the U.S. government's website at the National Library of Medicine at the National Institute of Health. And I see that cyanocobalamin, here it is made up of these three things. The cobalt metal, which all B12 is made up of, and then it's also made of something called hydrogen cyanide. I wonder what that is. A flammable, acute toxic, environmental hazard.
Now, the main reason why people get this version is it's incredibly cheap. And on the label, sometimes it'll say, I don't know, 5,000% of normal, and people think more is better. Well, the reason why it's 5,000% is that it takes so much of it to be absorbed. It takes 4 steps for it to convert into this version to then be absorbed. So number one, it's not absorbed easily. But number two, this splits off into cyanide. And you heard me correctly, I said cyanide. Now, I don't know about you, maybe it's just me, but I don't want cyanide in my body.
And the question is, where do we get the hydrogen cyanide? Like, how do we, we get the cobalt metal, we get the hydrogen cyanide, we stitch these things together, but where does the hydrogen cyanide come from? Well, it's another industrial waste product, only this is the industrial waste product from the processing of human sewage. And so in the processing of human sewage, you have a byproduct called sludge, which you'll see hydrogen cyanide. It's the frothy, bubbly, yellowy stuff that they scrape off. So now if it's the waste from the treatment of human sewage, that's got to be like the bottom of the barrel, right? And then some scientist was like, you know what? If we take that, bind it to the cobalt metal, we can make cyanocobalamin. It's cheap. I'm using another industry's waste.